Well, I mean, all of the television, the experiences are really cool. I mean, you've written a couple different books as well on your perspectives of our combat method and how they correlate and the assimilations that you made with the military experience, that you've had. But I definitely don't want us to finish. And Hardy, if there's a couple questions you have as well, I definitely want to get those in. But I really want you to be able to talk to people about the foundation that you created, and just share a little bit of that information with us as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so after my first naked and afraid experience, uh, I came back, and so I mean, you can't say enough about, or there's no words to describe being stripped of everything: food, water, clothing, shelter. Like all that's just gone. You're on the side of a mountain, and you just have nothing but yourself and one other person and your own thoughts to deal with on a consistent basis day after day. And so I had challenges in the Army that, a lot of soldiers, we don't get a chance to really face that when we come back from war. We just start moving and grooving.
Hmm.
And then in a lot of ways, it's not really the thing. If you want to be a good soldier, sometimes you feel like it's not the thing to, you got a team that's relying on you. You got a family that's relying on you. So you're mission driven, and the mission very rarely is about you. It's always about an objective outside of you. And so, you're just always out there. So when I got on the show, even though I had been out of the Army for like several years, and I'm out there, all these things started creeping up. And I had some very enlightening moments. So when I came back, I was like, I have to share this experience with more people. And the way I had planned to do that was by purchasing land and building a facility out there that people can come to, and we can do like retreats. And so one day my goal is to have it so that when soldiers come back, part of their R&R, their relaxation, rest and relaxation, is that they'll come out to the Soil Foundation for a week, and there's no cell phone, and we'll just kind of, talk about things and learn how to live off the land and do some, cool stuff outdoors, and then they get to go back to their family after they got a chance to decompress. That would be the ideal. But it's been a slow road. It's been a few years. I call it the Soil Foundation because it means Seeds of Indigenous Learning. That's what SOIL stands for, Seeds of Indigenous
Awesome.
Learning. And just this idea that I think as I look at cultures, and I've been able to travel the world and stuff, and I see people who live out on the land, there is a connection there. There is a humbleness there. There is a unification there that I think really is designed to kind of coexist with human nature. Nature is meant to coexist with human nature, and they help heal each other. That's my belief. I think the indigenous people of ancient times knew that, and so that's why I call it the Soil Foundation. So
That's great. Thanks for getting a little deeper into that, explaining to those that are watching and those that will be watching this program in future views. We certainly appreciate it. So, what's coming up next? What do you have coming down the pipeline?
so I'm working on several other books. So I got,
Hardy was mentioning to me that you have a children's book.
yes, look at that. It
There we
just
go.
happened to be in my lap. I don't know how that happened.
It's
Um,
crazy, crazy the works that in manifestation. Didn't we just cover that? So
so
tell us a little bit about this book.
So it's called Tales from a Modern Ninja Kid. The 14-point code of mindful action that we teach in To-Shin as something that was passed down from our lineage. And one of the things that I've had trouble with after teaching for 12 years in my own facility is getting youth to recognize how to apply that in their own lives, right? It's the
Mm.
most powerful tool we have. I mean, and I'm gonna say this where hopefully it doesn't hurt any feelings out there, because we're all To-Shin practitioners, but the punch, chop, kick is not what makes us special. everyone has a punch chop to it, you know? It's how we as ninja view the world and how we operate in the world that makes us very unique. And the 14-point code of mindful action is one of those things that to me is the guiding light, is the guiding principle of what we're doing. And we can find so many facets of that and how it can connect to the world. And I just feel like it's really hard to get that across to like little kids, you know? So like, they
Sure.
like, oh. So I'm like, well, storytelling is how ancients got it across. They would tell stories. And so I had a young man, Adam White. So the people in the book, or some of them are actual characters, and he had experience. And then, you know, I kind of went off of that and started building a story out of that experience and turned it into Tales from a Modern Ninja Kid, which is going to be a series of books, because I've had so many youth come in now, and I've also had my own personal experiences that, you know, I'm able to tie to the 8 steps to the accomplishment plan, or the guiding principles, or the 14-point code of mindful action, or the heroic parameters, you know, like, and just being able to really kind of give that and package that in a way that it can aid the next generation, you know, and grow them within our what I feel is one of the most powerful and unique tools that we have.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on that, man. That's really great. Yeah, definitely. Those kids, actually, when I look at the cover, when I first saw the book, I was like, I think I know these kids. These kids look familiar to me. You know, Hardy, we were talking about Mountain Quest, and I remember the last one that I was at. Hakim, you had a family that they all tested for Shodan, and there were 3 or 4 members, or it was the I mean, you knew who they were, but I think they've since moved from North Carolina. But anyway, I remember watching this family train, the father and his 2 kids. And I was just like so impressed, not only with their skill, but just the way that they carried themselves. It wasn't like the kids weren't behaved because the parent was there. It's like the kids were behaved because they learned what, I don't want to say proper or good behavior is, but they were tuned in to appropriate behavior, respectful behavior, not because they had to, it was just part of them. And I thought that was really, you know, if that is, and I know it's based on, you know, what we just discussed for the past 45 minutes, something that is a quality of your school, that is built into the culture of your school, it was certainly exemplified in those individuals. So my hat's off to you for the I guess the product, to say it in lack of better terms, that you create from the students at your school. It's something to be admired for sure. They were amazing human beings.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that means
definitely
a lot to me, because that really is, you know, that is the legacy I want to leave, you know, is that, you know, I truly believe in the service. Like I said, this idea of the Hoko no Kamae idea that I'm talking about, you know, it may mean something else to other people, but to me, this idea of embracing the perimeter, of really coming from a place where quite often you look around and people just accept it where they were, their circumstances. This is where I am. This is how I was born. This is just the way it is. And me always believing that there could be more. And then finally coming into a power that I said, I'm going to go and find more. And when everything and everyone was saying, some out of worrying about me was saying that, you know, this isn't a smart move. This isn't, you know, you shouldn't do this. I did it. And because of that, I was able to change my life and many other lives. And so I hope that, you know, if one thing that is the common thread in what I do, it's that people recognize that aspect and it helps grow them in some way.
Sure.
You definitely
That's
do.
awesome.
Every time I visit your school, man, it's I'm blown away by the quality of the qualities your friends, your students put out, and it's a reflection on the type of person, the type of leader that you. I appreciate you for what you've done, and I'm sure all that those that you have touched appreciate that as well. So, in the interest of time, talk about festivals. Banshu is put up some different stuff. Have you guys seen this?
I have.
Yeah.
We've got some opportunities to be in person. I believe for the first time ever to tune in remotely. You know, as a lot of things are happening through Zoom and stuff like that. There's a an opportunity for people to participate. Do you guys know where what you're going to do going forward?
I think, well, I just looked recently and there was a breakdown on what states had what parameters as far as travel, state to state travel is concerned. And unfortunately, if I were to, as a Floridian, if I were to go to Ohio, I'm required to do 2 weeks quarantine. So I'm going to be tuning in via Zoom on this one. I'm one of those guys where it's heartbreaking for me because I'll be the first one to buy plane ticket and go wherever I need to go to get the training that I want to get. Um, so it's a little disappointing. Naturally, I get it. There's as we have done, Hardy, there's great things that you can do on Zoom. You can still have a great enriching experience. So I'm going to take advantage of being there online with Anshu and the Shihan Kai and Mr. Shane Stevens, and just have some fun with it that way. How about you, Hakeem?
It's seeming like I'm going to be the same. Um, and I haven't looked at to see if there were any travel restrictions or anything like that, but that was something that I wanted to look at. But just being around here with everything that's going on, it's pretty important right now. Just for even the school's sake, and making sure that I can keep
Sure.
things moving in a positive direction. So.
Yeah. Hardy, what's your plan?
I'm in the same boat. Being the who we're around in the school. Obviously, we can't open for normal classes, but I'm in teaching with some of our fellow instructors, and we're all trying to keep each other um, in our awareness so that we're not unnecessarily exposing ourselves to something that may expose to someone else. So I'm going to take advantage of the digital option as well. But I'm excited to see how it goes because this as terrible as the COVID situation has been, it's opened up a lot of possibilities in terms of
Sure.
you know be able to connect. I always look forward to seeing you guys when I would see you, but I'm seeing people so much more regularly virtually now that even though it's not actual connection, it feels pretty close.
Yeah, it's good having that type of interaction going, and um, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun experience. I think it'll be broken up. I think he's formatted it. Anshu has formatted it pretty well to where you won't be sitting in front of a screen for 5 hours straight, which you know can be a little daunting at times, especially with the subject matter as deep as things can go and as ethereal as things can get. Sometimes you're like, well, I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, holy cow, stay engaged. So it can be challenging, but I think it'll be a unique festival, looking at it both from the perspective of a student and looking at it from the business aspect as well, on how we are all managing our way through and what we can do to capitalize and keep ourselves going in the challenging times that we're experiencing right now. So yeah, that'll be fun. And then Hardy, beyond, not beyond festival, because you'll be doing this soon. You'll have Sentoshi is going to be doing another sword
Yep.
series with you, correct?
It's coming up this weekend. We're gonna have it this Saturday at 3 p.m. So uh, your instructor, Master Russo, has taught a Sentoshi sword series to us that he's broken into 3 sections, and we've got the um, third of those sections coming up this Saturday. So our students here in Chapel Hill are excited, but this is open to anybody in the To-Shin community that would like to participate. Just save your space at chquestcenter.com.
Awesome.
Yep.
And Hakeem, in wrapping up what we're doing here with you, how can folks? You've got so many things that you've got your hands in. What? How can folks get in touch with you to learn more about not only your school but about the Soil Foundation as well and the projects that you've got going on?
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff is connected to just my personal, page, which is Hakim-Isler, Isler.com, and that's Hakim, Hakim, Isler, Isler.com. And, you'll be able to connect to the Soil Foundation and elevodynamics.com. And just the Soil Foundation is the soil, SOIL, foundation.org. It's not a .com. And
Okay.
but again, they can connect to everything through Hakim Dashes.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.